Hi again, here we are to continue our discussion of CSS and position. And in the last video, I introduced relative position. Let's take a look at absolute position, okay? So I'm going to remove the position property there, right? Let's remove that. And let's see what we had without any position setting at all, right? So we'll follow that last video, and here I have this red box that has a black one inside it, and then below that, below the red one, we have this aquamarine box, right? So what if we apply absolute position to the black box? So I'm going to set the position property to absolute and then save. Weird, right? So I refresh my page, and then the red box disappears and the green one just jumps up here. So what happened? Well, when something is absolute position, its containing element doesn't recognize it, kind of like float. So the red box has collapsed to 0, and the green box just doesn't see the black one, so it just moves up underneath the 0 pixel tall red box. And we can confirm that if we go find the inspector here and we look at main, and you can see, actually can't really see it too well there, but if I get the metrics thing here, you can see it's 900 wide, which we set, but it's 0 tall, right? So it just doesn't recognize this guy, okay? Okay, so why don't we do this? Why don't we give main a height, just so we can see it, right? So we'll say height of 300. Okay, so I go back here. Now it looks just like it did before. Okay, so what's really going on now? Let's start setting the left and top properties that we saw with relative position, okay? So I haven't set those yet, so my box is kind of sitting in the right spot and everybody's ignoring it. But what if I did this? What if I set the left to 0 and the top to 100? That's 100 pixels. Okay? What happens then? So remember, top of 0, left of 100. Or no, wait, left of 0, top of 100, right? Wow, so the box is way over here. So really what's happening there is my box is 0 pixels from the left edge of the screen and 200 pixels down from the top. So with absolute position, I can just set the absolute position of an object anywhere on the screen. So what if I wanted to make it, 300 pixels from the left and 250 pixels down from the top? Then I can do that, right? So remember, this guy's 300 tall. So this is, it's about 200, and this is about 250 or whatever the numbers were, right? Because this would have been, if it was 300 down, it would have been right here, right? Okay? So with absolute position, you can place something pretty much anywhere on the screen. And if you're setting it from the left and the top, then, imagine that this upper left corner is going to be in that spot. And you can use other properties here too. So for example, if you wanted to try and put this in the middle of the screen, right, what you could do is you could say 50% left and do 50% top, right? So let's watch what happens. Interesting. So this is 50% of the left, so it puts me exactly, the left edge exactly in the middle, and it comes down halfway, so 50%. So actually this corner is exactly in the center of the screen, right? So if I scroll the screen, there it is, right? Because, if I make this taller, you'll see it moves down, but essentially this corner is still in the middle, okay? So one more thing. What if I wanted to put the center of the black box right here? Okay, so I want the black box exactly centered with its center in the middle, okay? There's a couple ways to do that. Calc is a good way to do it, right? Because what I want to do is I want to put the left edge at 50% minus half of the width. So what I could do is I could take, 300 pixels divided by 2 and subtract that from 50% of the width of the screen, right? And then I could do the same thing here. Essentially you could have just subtracted 150 because that's half of 300, but you know, if you just want to have the math, you could say, you have the computer do the math, you could, you know, do this, right? Okay, so we could do that as, you know, because my height is 300 and the width is 300. So if I subtract half of 300 from 50%, then, you know, if this is the center, we would be subtracting, you know, that would be moving us to the left and moving us up, right? And then our box is in the middle of the screen. And it's going to stay in the middle of the screen because our 50% is the size of the viewable area here, right? So, you know, if the screen real estate grows, then the center point is going to change, right? But anyway, that gets us started on absolute and relative position. There's actually more to this story, and relative and absolute position actually interact with each other too when you have two objects that are, you know, related, like one is nested within the other and one is absolute and one is relative. And that's a really important thing to understand. I'm going to cover that in another video, okay? So anyway, thanks for watching, and I hope that that's giving you some good ideas on how you're going to lay out some objects on the screen.